From Seco Future Farm, today's innovations, tomorrow's solutions.
Welcome back to Future Farm. I'm your guest host today, Adam Dickinson. I'm filling in for Dr. Jim Robinson, and with me is Austin Koch with EarthOptics. Austin, welcome to the show today.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about EarthOptics.
Yeah, so we're a soil data insights company. We use multimodal sensors to deliver high actionable insights on your nutrients, compaction, as well as our biological insights of the soil.
How do you get there? I know I've heard soil metagenomics.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about that.
So soil metagenomics is basically and essentially the DNA of the soil, and we kind of extract that to look at all your different pests, pathogens, diseases, biofertility metrics of the soil, and we can really utilize all of those DNA insights to create a crop plan, which we can look at, hybrid decisions, variety selection for your soybeans, as well as precision placement for your biologicals.
Wow, that's pretty intense set of data that you're getting. So how does a grower or someone like myself get that data working with you guys?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. We put the orders into the system, and when they're marked ready, we place boundaries around the field. We create those zones. So if we do like a 360 Pro where we're doing the high-res nutrients and the biology, we select grid points throughout that whole field at a 5 to 10 acre density for the nutrients. And then for the biology, we're doing a 16 to 24 acre composite grid where we're pulling subsamples throughout that whole field or throughout that whole grid. And when we do that, we can really get a good measurement and look at what the soil is producing and what it's doing. So when we run our technology over the entire field matched with those grid points, we can generate a high resolution 10 by 10 meter map of your nutrient levels. And then with the biology insights, we've had those benchmarked and validated where we can give you really good pressure level of where your pests are, where your pathogens exist, and then any key biofertility measurements that we may want to improve.
That's a little more intense than just your standard soil testing protocol, right? So it's not just a standard probe that you're using then to go out and get these. Is that correct?
Exactly. So one thing that really sets us apart for EarthOptics is we have spatial, high resolute, and actionable insights for your nutrient spend. So instead of having like a 2.5 acre grid that you're pulling throughout the field, we actually use our ground dowel system.
Okay.
And what that essentially does is we utilize electromagnetic induction technology, and then we're ground truthing with physical samples. And then on that note, with the ground dowel tech, we have what we call our ADCP units, which is an automated digital cone pentrometer. And when we tie that together with our ground dowel readings, we can give you inch by inch data on your compaction levels. So it's the most resolute maps you can get when you're talking about a VRT system.
So the ground dowel is doing the compaction, and then you're still pulling physical core samples for the other analytics. Is that correct?
Exactly. So just kind of digging deep what a ground dowel is, it's a multimodal sensor suite, and we have quad coils within that ground dowel bar. And what that's doing is it's sending signals and it's receiving signals throughout that soil profile, looking at things like the soil texture, soil conductivity, as well as like some of the nutrient properties. And then we tie that back with our machine learning and some of our data ingestion, where we can use all those sets of data with the ground truth soil samples to build and generate a very high resolution map.
So you're collecting a lot of data on each farm then, is that correct?
Yep, and it only gets more accurate and precise every acre we go upon, just because of that machine learning component.
Right.
So we just recently passed 5 million acres of mapped soils, which is a huge progression, because once we hit like 1 million acres, we saw that what we're pulling data-wise is very accurate, so it's only gotten that more accurate over time.
Wow. So what out of that 5 million acres, what kind of crops are you testing in today?
So all row crops, primarily corn, soybeans, wheat, sugar beets, cotton. We are adding alfalfa to our biofertility metrics here this fall.
Okay, that's exciting. So that will continue to evolve, I assume, over time as you get more data and the machine learning starts to hone in on its components then.
Yeah, and you know, when we talk about like our nutrient maps, we have a really cool tool where we can build prescriptions on your farm, and we're very compatible with the systems that farmers use today, so they can ingest it into their John Deere Ops, their Ag Leader, Field View, their CNH, to really have a plug-and-play system and have those data layers.
So the farmer gets that data from you. How does he get that, I guess, to be able to get that into his My John Deere or whatever tool?
So all of our results exist in our EarthOptics web dashboard.
Okay.
And that you can use everything in there. And then if they have an API connection with their FieldView, Deere, or CNH Ag Leader system, it just kind of plug and plays back and forth as far as like the scripts go. And yeah, it's a super user-friendly web dashboard. We can see all of the data insights. We also have descriptions on all the different pests and pathogens and what that kind of contributes or what we can do to help mitigate that. And then our crop planning tool, you know, is also a super awesome feature where we can really fine tune, you know, what kind of fungicide do we need to apply, what fields actually need a precise biological placement, and what biologicals are going to have the best fit. And then on the seed selection side, we use the agronomic ratings of the seed companies to really fine tune and understand what hybrid is going to have the best fit on my farm.
So if I've got portfolio products or products I'm using, I can compare those against what results I got back from you to understand what gaps I may have or where I may need to find a solution. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, just kind of like on a trait example, we can identify the differences between western and northern corn rootworm. So, you know, if we have really low pressures, we can kind of use a technology like VT4. But then if we have higher, you know, problems, we can, you know, say a Smart Stacks or a Duracade, and possibly doing like a soil applied insecticide, maybe some kind of corn rootworm biological product to help mitigate some of those risks.
Yeah, I know we've had some discussions around that, right, in the tool and the crop planning, and it's you know, I have peeked into that. It's a pretty exciting feature, and how do you come about, or what's the process to continue to integrate more components into that testing, whether it be diseases, pests? How do you guys know what to test for?
We are testing the soil, and I mean, there's 10 millions and millions upon data sets of different DNA traces throughout that whole soil. So we have our data science team that's always looking and trying to improve what we're adding to the dashboard. And we want to make sure that what's on there actually contributes to yield and that it's accurate. We want to have at least a 90% accuracy of the levels that we show on these tests. So, you know, we're always adding things. This fall, we're adding a lot more metrics to the biofertility side, a couple on the corn, and then we're adding alfalfa. So we're always trying to make the product a little bit better, but we want to have validated benchmark data that we can put our name behind.
Yeah. When's the best time for someone to sign up and to do this testing then?
You know, right after harvest is definitely the best time to go sample. It gives us time for our seed selection and our crop protection. If we're doing any fall applying of nutrients, fall usually gives us the most time to make those management decisions. As far as like when we should enroll acres, it'd be like right now, just because that gives time for our samplers to kind of get their sample plans put together, understand where we can be, and get it done in a timely manner.
Well, I mean, and this is exciting. I know I've seen some stuff come out of there, and the testing that you've done and we've partnered with you on is pretty exciting, and I look forward to getting some results this fall. So thank you, Austin, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Adam.
Appreciate it. And thank you for joining us on another episode of Future Farm.